Okay, suggested from one of you guys that went ahead and purchased this new adjustable dumbbell on Amazon. It is very cool. It is called the Tixteel XT-GRIP Universal Dumbbell Bundle. They say it is a bundle because you get all sorts of loading pins that goes up to 5 pounds all the way up to 220 pounds, which I think is, according to what I've reviewed so far, which I will allude here in this video, I think would be the fastest adjustable dumbbell set. If you're using some external weight plates, you can use 1 inch and also 2 inch plates on this set. And also novel about this is they look like traditional kind of spin locks with a flat edge, which would be nice, but even better, they are actually kind of a quick change adjustable dumbbell, which allows you to kind of seal them just like this. You flick a switch and they can become released very quickly. Felt somewhat compelled to do this video because I've compared other adjustable dumbbell setups. Like I said, Kensui's plastic, they're aluminum. Went into very deep dives in various Ironmaster products, of which you guys know I think they are very cool and awesome. Even have extender rods, really testing out the strength limits of the Kensui's. Want to make this somewhat of a brief one, but got to throw this in here, guys. If you like small independent reviews like this from a channel like mine, no big corporation here. The best thing you guys can do though is like, share, subscribe, and of course, you guys watching, hitting those affiliate links helps fund me, and that's what I put right back into this channel in purchasing products such as this. I'll get up close and just show you how this works in a second. I believe this is 5 pounds for the starting weight, and if you want to compare it to, say, the other Kensui handles, which are probably a close comparison, more or less, these plastic ones, a little more thinner diameter. This one's probably the thinnest compared to the Kensui. This is like kind of more of a moderate grip. These, of course, are just kind of plastic, more just feeling knurlings, not bad, but they're just plastic. This one's more thicker. Some people like that, some don't. A little bit of knurling there. These are aluminum, a little bit lighter than this, but I would say the knurling, the tightness of the knurling, if you're really into that type of thing, this definitely feels better in your hand, but you can see there is still some distance in the dumbbell, maybe compared to the basic Kensui, which is a little more tighter to your hand, and I always kind of like that. A little moderate thing based on the design. It's not totally circular, so it's not gonna really roll away on you. It can kind of stay still if you want it to. Now the Kensui, just as a quick comparison, so if you have a Kensui that's loaded up like this, if you were to go ahead and take the weight off, you gotta do one of these deals depending on how long it takes to adjust. Also wanted to show you here, this is an example that sometimes can happen with the Kensui ones, is you can get kind of locked out a little bit. How the mechanism works, and just to show you, you have these little locking pins right here, and you kind of feed the rod right through there, and then there's this little clamp inside there that kind of locks in the actual pin, which is really a nice little neat idea. So how this works when you want to go ahead and load some weight on, you go ahead, place the weight on, you actually want to have this locked down first, and that can be kind of confusing. You think you want to unlock it, but you actually want to have it locked. Go ahead, put a weight on top, and then just drop it in, and then you just give it a little tighten, and then that side is good. Flip it over, give it a drop, and you're locked in. Now, and then if you actually want to release it, now notice this really quick. This is something I noticed. So I did tighten these, but then if I kind of put it down or go like this a little bit, look how much slack is still there. Now you could argue, yeah, you guys got to tighten it down even more, doing something like that, and you're pretty much good. But I just want to let you know that I did notice setting it up and putting it down on an angle, you may loosen it up a little bit. Even if it gets loose, the good thing is that lock is kind of a secondary measure. You might have slack, but it's not going to fly out of you. When you want to go ahead and take it off, you simply just turn the dial, give it a little slack, go ahead and find that release, and then you just pull it back out again. I'm going to turn this one. So something that they do as like an extra safety measure is there's this little window right through here, so that when you do go ahead and lock it on the ridges, you can see if you got clearance or don't. If you do not see it in the window, then you would go ahead and grab one of these other longer rods, very similar to other systems, Kensui and of course Ironmaster, things of that nature for sure. So it is claiming that this black one here can go from up to, probably depends on the diameter and thickness of the weights yourself, which of course is going to add some cost on there. So total price all in, if you're going to go in and buy some of this stuff, you got to do the math. But you're looking at 75 pounds. They're saying up to this one, this can hold, and there's a decent amount of length there. with this orangish type of color. It's saying you can get up to 80 to 170 pounds. It does give you the actual length there too, so it's 4.6 inches. And then the red one, it says it can go from 175 to 220 pounds, or this is 6.96 inches, almost 7 inches in length. What I'm gonna do is, and I'll get to the 2-inch plate option in a second, but let's load some standard plates in here. I'll put 50 and 50 and just show you what that looks like. I'll actually go ahead and just make it 55 on each side, putting up to roughly 110 pounds. Let's go ahead and put this orange rod in, if I can sneak it in, so it seems like it's in there. Give it a little tighten, and that one is good. Let's go ahead and put the other side in. And there you go, you got roughly 110 pounds loaded on the dumbbell. Let's go ahead and give it a little mini shake test here. So you can see little looseness there, but again, I didn't really, benefit of the doubt, I didn't really crank it in too much. Let's see if I can do a counter crank here. Feels pretty balanced. And even after a few drops, not really a whole lot of, not feeling anything like that once I gave it kind of a drop. Now, if you did want to go ahead and say do a drop set, give it a little loosen, flick that switch, go ahead, take some weight off. We gotta close the switch. Give it a notch, and you're ready to go. Now, before I showed you the Olympic plates and how that works with these little inserts here, I know the question is gonna come up, Mike, can you put these on Ironmasters? You kind of can, it'll lock in. I had to put it this way versus the other flush way because that just doesn't work at all. It kind of works, but the problem is even if you latchet it in, eventually you're gonna have some stuff, kind of some slack. These will not come out, I trust that, but you're gonna have a play that, in my opinion, doesn't really make it worth it. The other downside too, as I adjust these, you always have to kind of feel around for that slip there. So that is kind of a minor thing on that one. So now if you do want to go ahead and use Olympic plates, they give you these little inserts. You just put them on the inside like that, lock it down. I've already tried this, so I know it works, but just to show you. So works out pretty good. All right, I'm gonna set this up for a couple other single joint stuff and talk about feeling here, but I thought I might as well give a little bit of commentary as I'm loading weight on so you can see what this is like in real time. I think when you're doing something like this, if you don't mind being on the ground, it's not a big deal, but having some sort of a cart is definitely helpful. That was something I've expressed in some other videos as well, with like using Kensuis or of course dumbbell, Ironmasters, or anything else we're using external plates. So it didn't take me too long to get these locked in. Now, if I'm just holding these as is, you notice I gave it a little tight on, but I can already, maybe not, I thought I could feel it kind of slack. How it feels in your hand is good. It does feel a little bit wider. You'd think it would feel kind of tighter in your hand. The dumbbell itself feels good. I like, of course, the circular design. I've said that many times. I like a circular kind of a feel versus like a square or octagon or whatever, but still a little bit wider, or longer I should say, of a dumbbell. You can kind of see that, you know, on camera. But overall, it's up to you as far as the trade-off for speed versus, you know, that aspect of it. And let's just do another little kind of drop test. Maybe, so that one had a little bit of play. You can see that now that totally came undone. I'd say that's the only fairly big con with these is, and all these kind of have that. Ironmaster has it too. You got to kind of do like a pre-shake and then tighten it down. But that's just something you got to be mindful of and just not really care too much. I didn't say mindful about because you're probably not going to hurt yourself with it. So only big con so far I'm seeing with these things would be that. The only other con that I'd say that'd be on the back of my mind, at least, is that what's going for the Ironmaster and maybe a couple other ones, I don't know, maybe the Kensui, but is I do believe this thing is engineered pretty well. I don't really know the longevity of this brand new product. This is made in Taiwan, which supposedly does have pretty high standards of manufacturing, so forgot to mention that up top. But this little, I'm just wondering about the wear and tear of this lever. It's not a complicated mechanism, but there is a little spring in there, and I think that just over time, maybe there's some wear and tear on this clip. This clip is plastic. I'm really nitpicking though. I think this would be fine, especially just the general use people are gonna use with it, but you are using it, you know, flicking it up and flicking it down for, you know, various exercises when you're adjusting weight. So that would be the only thing, is while it is a trade-off and going super fast, that is a little, just these little mechanisms here, maybe could fail over time. And as a whole, it's not expensive, but it's also not super cheap. But with that, you are also getting the whole entire kind of package or bundle here, versus if you were getting something like the Kensui handles that has the extender rods. Once you get the aluminums and the extender rods, I think they might even make a longer extender rod, I'm not sure. But just these two, this set alone is putting you upwards the same cost of that bundle. And I would be pretty certain, or I am certain, that you're not going to be able to get the max weight capacity. If you're going to use, it's up to you, but you're not going to get that max weight capacity. That's very similar actually in length to the max pin on the Ironmaster, which I've covered before too. Very cool option if I was starting over again and I just wanted to use, say, something like circular standard plates. This would be up there. If not, maybe the thing I would go with, just because the speed and how fast it is to kind of quick change things in and out, and you get your standard basic weight plates. And overall, I think the mechanism is a pretty ingenious but fairly simplistic design overall. But you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions on it, guys. Anything else you want to see featured in the channel, let me know. That's where this one came out of, and I will see you on the next video.